What's up guys, it's Everett here again. So week 4 of the push-up protocol, we're about halfway through this program already. So day 1 of this week is going to be really focused on planks. We're going to do a lot of planks, and again, most people just do planks with the top. We're going to build up a lot of volume and just time spent in the sticking parts of the push-up. So the parts where most people start to really break down and kind of shift their weight from one shoulder to the other and start to arch their back, we're going to hang out there and get pretty strong where most people have a tough time doing some reps at. And then after that, again, we're going to throw in some more variations of push-ups like diamond grip push-ups. So let's hop into day number 1. Kicking off the week with day number 1, 4 sets at 30%. We're adding again 1 to 2 reps to each and every set. So at this point, over all of those sets, you might be up 40 reps compared to the very first week. So we're adding a lot of volume. It just seems slow, but halfway through this program, we're definitely making progress. So again, watch your rest times, keep the form tight. If you've been adding 2 reps and that gets too difficult, drop down to just adding 1 rep per set. Glute bridges, single leg, we got 3 sets of 10 reps. We should be pros at these by now. In fact, if they're too easy, you might want to add a little exercise band around the knees to make it difficult, or add a weight like a dumbbell on the hips to get a little bit of increased difficulty going. Reverse hypers, we're going to keep the toes on the ground. And you can see here, I'm trying to start to lift my head, then my upper back, and then my lower back off the ground. So a little bit of wave. We're doing this for the spinal rectors, but we're also trying to get a little bit of spinal segmentation, meaning moving every single vertebrae on these reps. So a little bit of posterior chain work, back work, and mobility of the spine. 2 sets of 10 reps. Reverse plank, again, another move we should be very good at by now. Fingertips forward, hips in line with the ankles and the knees, breathe in the stomach. Normal plank, 60 seconds. Watch the shoulders, keep the glutes and the hamstrings active, don't let those hips sag. And then moving on to a mid plank, again, if you have to do a couple reps to get the position right of the shoulders and the elbows, do it, and then freeze about halfway through a push-up. Hold for 30 seconds. Low plank, we're 2 to 4 inches off the ground. Hold for 30 seconds. Day number 2, again, adding 1 to 2 reps, and especially at 35%, we're going to be hitting some pretty good volume here, so watch your rest periods. And again, if you can only drop down to adding 1 rep, just do 1 rep extra each round. Side plank. These should be getting easier and easier, so we're going to do 2 sets of 30 seconds per side. Definitely try to lift that leg and that arm, but keep those hips up as you do so. If these are still challenging, especially keeping a nice neutral shoulder, just do a normal plank and watch the position. Keep everything tight. Scapula push-ups, again, we want to pause at the top and the bottom of each retraction and protraction. We have 3 sets of 10 seconds. If these get easier and easier, just drop your rest periods down to like 30 seconds or 45 seconds to make it more challenging. Single arm plank, we're going to do 30 seconds per side. As always, really check the shoulder and the hips, make sure they're squared to the ground as if you're doing a normal plank. Switch arms carefully. You can rest between sides, but if you can, do both back to back. Diamond grip push-ups. So you can see the line of action is going to end up with the hands more at the top of the stomach here. So diamonds, try to make a triangle with your fingers, or what you can also do is spread your fingers out a little more based on the length of your arms and mobility. So typically your hands are more by your shoulders for a normal push-up. Again, you're going to be touching more lower chest, upper stomach with this style of push-up. 1 set to AMRAP. And our final day, once again, we're trying to add 1 to 2 reps. If you can't add 1 to 2 reps, just repeat last week's numbers. Don't be afraid to open up that rest time to 2, 3, even 3.5, 4 minutes to keep good form, good speed, but hit those top end sets without breaking down too much in your form. Skydiver, we're going static here, 2 sets of 30 seconds. Really contract everything as tight as you possibly can, not to the point where you cramp, but hamstrings, calves, glutes, upper and lower back, get as little of the body on the ground as possible. Inchworm plank, so this is something new. We're gonna try to keep the palms on the ground as long as we can. Stay on the palms, don't move to the fingertips. You're gonna walk as close up to the feet as possible. I've got a medium width stance, not too wide, not too narrow, and I'm keeping my knees straight for as long as I can and my low back flat as long as I can. So you don't want to let the knees drop in, you don't want to bend the knees too early, you don't want to round the low back, and again, you want to try to stretch out the palms on these. If they're too easy, you could throw a push-up in there at the bottom of each plank. But make sure returning to a plank, walk up palm to toes, big toes, and then back into a plank. Side plank, one set of 30 seconds per side with a leg lift and arm lift, or a bar hang using a pull-up bar or gymnastic rings, 2 sets of 20-second hangs if you can. Moving planks, so elbow, elbow, hand, hand is 1 rep. Make sure you're alternating what side you go down with first, and pull that hand back underneath the shoulder to get a little mini 1-arm push-up going on. And we'll finish off this video with a new stretch. So all you need is a door handle, and what you can do is kind of trap the arm you're stretching with your other hand. That way you can relax, in this case, my left arm a little more. And I can see I have a bit of a 45-degree angle from my torso to the door, but I can straighten out and face the door and get a little bit more of a shoulder stretch in this direction, opposed to just lats. Now, what position you need to be in is going to be very subject to where you're tight, but you want to make sure your bicep and the inside of the elbow is facing the ceiling. It will start to rotate towards your head, and you want to avoid that. So again, play around with your position, find new lines of tension, hang out 2 minutes per side. To increase this stretch, you can actually round the back, and I'm stretching my left shoulder. So what I'm going to do is push my left hip away from my shoulder. So I'm kind of rotating my hips, in this case counterclockwise, pushing the left hip away from the left shoulder. Try to keep your shoulder down towards the ground, don't let it poke up to the ceiling, and start to straighten out your elbow more and more. So again, 2 minutes per side. Just find little sticky spots, lines of tension, and breathe deeply through them. All right, we are officially halfway through the program. So go over that new stretch we just covered, as well as the stretch we covered in week 1. Make sure you're doing those after the workouts and on your off days. As always, eat well, sleep well, and see you in week number 5.